Assalamu alaikum everyone and good evening. Hope you're all safe and sound. My name is Shiza Mufaz and I will be hosting today's event. So to start this event, I would like to request Rafi Rahman for the recitation from Quran. I think the person is having some issues, so we can move on. So today our talk is about the logo design, and for that, a renowned art director and designer Sarmad Hashmi will be joining us. He has inspired many hearts with his creativity and talent. His most remarkable and outstanding work is related to Urdu typography. Really honored to have him with us. Assalamu alaikum.
Hey everyone, I have no idea who is watching, but those who are watching, um, I think my camera is not working, so we'll skip that. But Assalamu alaikum, क्या हाल है सबके? And let
Thank you
me
for
know in the comments अगर कोई छोटी मोटी questions हैं. I would be catering to those questions after the talk, after the session. Uh, the agenda would be somewhat similar to, it would be kind of, it will cover my logo process, and I will be telling it how my experience has been in the freelancing. Plus, I was working at an agency before, so um, I will be guiding you how to work in an agency, and how to uh, go through all that um, when in the agency. So yeah, let's
really
begin.
excited.
Do you have anything to say, Shaza?
Yes, I was saying that we are really excited for you to start.
Perfect. There are 8 people watching, so uh, okay. Um, can you see my screen? Is it being shared?
Yes, it's been shared.
Okay. Okay. Today is, I think, 10th. Yeah, it's 10th. Um, so my this whole session would cover, I think, basic stuff. Don't I won't go into uh, a lot of detail, but uh, my एक तरह से मेरी कोशिश होगी कि I will cover all the things. So I am Sarmad Hashmi. I have been in this field for almost 10 years. I have been designing. I have been designing for my own self as well. Um, my agency experience is almost 4 years. I used to work in an agency and then moved to another agency. Like I have changed 3 agencies in my lifetime, so that covers my 4 to 4.5 years. Um, my Obviously, when you're working in a commercial environment, you are bound to get frustrated. Most of the time people get frustrated because there are always guidelines, there are always some basic rules to follow in an agency as well. And uh, to let that out, I started doing my own thing. I started doing freelance so that I can, do things on my own and guide people on my own. Because when you're in an agency, you're working with a team, and obviously restrictions आ जाती हैं उसके अंदर. फिर obviously my own personal work has been related to Urdu. I have obviously design. I have a design background, so um, most of the time Urdu typography is connected with my own design as well. So um, the recent series that I didn't make my own fonts. I usually do my own calligraphy or digital calligraphy, whatever you want to call it. But for that, I used a font. So it was majorly for my own self, for my own sake of, mental health as well. So yeah, this is me. I Let's start, I guess. And the main question everyone is, people ask कि लोगो में और फिर ब्रांडिंग में क्या फर्क होता है. So the brand is a gut feeling about a product, service or a company. सही है. अगर अरशद जो है वो किसी को बोलता है कि हाँ यार, when he talks about iPhone or Apple, so that's branding of Apple, right? He is endorsing a brand and he's telling people about it. Um, so they That's a brand. What the logo is that Apple का icon. It doesn't identify के like it identifies the whole persona of the brand. अच्छा यार, this is जहाँ पे भी लगा होगा, it's from Apple. It has it has become a brand sort of thing कि अच्छा यार, logo है, उसकी वो आइडेंटिफाई क्या करता है, उस ब्रांड को आइडेंटिफाई करता है. So and logo जो है वो obviously it's an identity, and the whole purpose of the logo is to uh, you know it's more like a symbol, and it identifies the problem. So, mere Chris Do said this in his one of his documentaries docu series that logo should identify and not explain. It should just be there and let people people will make an observation about it and say कि oh अच्छा ये है. Cluckies जाते हो अगर, if you're in Karachi, तो if you go to Cluckies, then the logo won't say much, but you will know कि अच्छा यार, there's a C with a chicken on it and all that stuff. So it might be from Cluckies. So Cluckies identify that कि अच्छा यार chicken fast food वाली QSR एक तरह से. Um, so yeah, for me and a lot of other people say this, that a good logo should be appropriate, it should be memorable, and it should be simple. My work has been very minimal. I haven't done any difficult logos. I always go for simple logos. अभी आगे जाके देखोगे भी कि whenever I do logos, तो I try to make them very simple. I try to you know make them so कि लोगों को याद भी रहे, and लोग कहें कि oh, this is, I have seen this one somewhere or something like that. उसकी overall जो look है, और वो उसकी एक तरह से सिर्फ लोगो ही नहीं, बट उसके आगे जो भी पैकेजिंग हो रही होती है या उसको उसकी साइनेज बन रही होती है, सो इट शुड बी वेरी सिंपल. So some of the logos that I have made, these are some of the logos. They are not all of them, but I tried to cover all the basics stuff. उसमें उर्दू logos भी हैं, उसमें QSR logos भी हैं. You can see Cluckies, you can see Meet Me Outside. There is a Go Korea logo as well. We have done YouTube logos as well. So it's like that. Julie logos, chocolate. The Belco is from chocolate. It's a chocolate brand. So this kind of sums up the kind of work that I do, the kind of colors I use, the kind of work I have been doing in the past year. I think this is all from 1 year of 1 year of work, I think. Um, so yeah, so my logo process. This is the most important part. I my people approach me. People say, "Oh, we want a logo," and the most important part, the most basic and most important part is that you do a discovery session with a client. Um, Discovery sessions can cover a lot of things. It can cover basically it covers all the you know challenges. आप देख रहे हो तो यार challenges क्या आ रहे हैं क्लाइंट को लोगो चाहिए भी कि नहीं चाहिए, what needs to be done, what are the target audience for the brand, what kind of what are their needs, what colors do they like, what colors, what does the brand, uh, उसका scope क्या है, uh, what if I am taking a project, does it include only the logo, or do I have to do we have to do the packaging as well, do we have to do the signage as well, and obviously uh, फिर obviously उसकी एक creative brief बनती है. So the creative brief is must have these things. कुछ चीजें उसमें से माइनस भी हो जाती हैं, कुछ depending on the project obviously, depending on the scope of work क्या है. So creative brief has that thing. Once you get the creative brief, उसके बाद जो major process design का है and all that वो start हो जाता है. So point being के um, when you are having a session with the client, do keep a pen and paper, do keep take start taking notes, because while the client is talking, they most of the time they speak something, कोई कीवर्ड होता है जो बार बार बोल रहा होता है वो. So keep a lookout on that ke, oh, this is what the client said, this is the challenge, this is their audience, and this is the kind of brand attributes that they want funky logo, or they want a very serious logo, or if they want to have like a meaningful kind of a logo for their brand कि अच्छा यार कुछ hidden meaning होना चाहिए, कुछ इस तरह की चीज. And obviously defining the parameters is के the client will most probably limit you कि अच्छा यार we don't want italic logo. We don't want a handmade logo. We want a simple, to the point logo, and they might share a few, inspirations with you as well. कि अच्छा, this is what we like, and this is what kind of logo that we want. Um, उससे ये होता है कि आसानी हो जाती है, yes, but it's your job to kind of um, educate educate the client as well कि अच्छा, this is your challenges, these are your audiences, and this needs to be fixed in order for you to have एक तरह से आप रीब्रांड अगर कर रहे हो तो, या अगर आप ब्रांड भी कर रहे हो तो रीब्रांडिंग इसके ऑलरेडी लोगो एग्जिस्ट करता है उनका, एंड देन you're making remaking the whole logo for it. So the creative brief is the most important part. If that's not clear, then you can always you will always stay very confused about things. कि अच्छा यार, client, what was what did the client say, what happened, and then and all that. So uh, and after doing all this scope of work, and after writing all the project goals and all that, you send an invoice to the client, you send a contract to the client. I have been using a contract since I think एक साल से, and it's amazing. Like the clients understand it. That "Chaya, this is how it's going to be done. All the scope of work, all the things that are needed in uh, while you're working for them is written in it. Um, Also, all the things that the client has said उसके अंदर लिखी होती हैं. So बड़ा एक थोड़ा सा लेंथी होता है, 2 पेजेस का होता है, बट वंस दैट इज साइंड तो उसके बाद आपको पता होता है कि अच्छा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन हुआ है, एंड देन यू स्टार्ट वर्किंग ऑन इट. You get a 50% advance or something like that. I will come to that later. Okay, how, because someone asked me this question on Instagram as well. So once that is done, invoicing and contract and all that, I have been using one contract from, I think Shazil Malik shared it on her Instagram. So I am using that. I kind of edited it a lot, but now I have been using it because the language and the all the things that are written in it are very clear, and simple as well. So yeah. Moving on. Um, once you get the creative brief, you move on to making the stylescapes and mood boards for your client, in order for the client to get an idea what you're going to do and what kind of mood that you're going to set for their brand. You can make two or three mood boards, but you can do one mega mood board and get it approved. कि, "अच्छा, yeah, this is what we are looking at." You can have another meeting with them in person. Obviously नहीं हो सकती क्योंकि there is COVID-19, but you can always have a Zoom session with the client. Okay, so these are the mood boards that we have, made and stuff like that. One mood board that I have been working. This was provided with by my client. This is a mood board that my client shared with me. So like I opened the Photoshop and I kind of spreaded it out a little and made a mood board sort of thing. This is the packaging. This is how the packaging would look. This is the interior, and this is the kind of fonts that we use. Um, I learned this the hard way that one should always name their mood boards. Um, if the So I called this the vintage dream. um, and आगे जो अभी दो और mood boards हैं उनका they don't have a name. So like I said, I'd learned it the hard way कि one should name the mood board so that the client is clear about it कि अच्छा this is the aesthetics that we are going with, this is the kind of photography that needs to be done. And this is just the basic phase. This is just We haven't even started sketching yet. We haven't even started um, you know thinking about कि अच्छा logo कैसा होगा. But once you're once you make a stylescape or a mood board, then you will have a clear idea कि अच्छा this is the kind of thing that the client loves, and this is the mood that they want to go with. This mood board specifically was shared by another client that I can't name right now, but this is the kind of stuff that was shared. Um, Moving on, if you are in Karachi, then you obviously know Delizia. And this mood board was like this had two colors, thematic. Like we wanted to do pastels as well. We wanted to go with bold blue, golden colors as well. We thought about rebranding Delizia, and then later on, we changed it to some other brand as well. So you will see and uh, the cityscapes and the cityscapes kya now, the mood boards and all the stylescapes are not limited to just branding and just logo designing. It can be anything. This was sort of mood board that I did for a client who wanted to have like a brochure designed as well. So uh, it was very एक्सटेंसिव कि अच्छा यार रेंडर्स किस तरह के हो रहे हैं, किस तरह के विजुअल्स यूज हो रहे हैं, किस तरह का कीवर्ड कोड भी लग सकता है, टाइपोग्राफी किस तरह की हो सकती है, एंड ओवरऑल उसके कवर कैसे डिजाइन हो सकता है, किस तरह के कलर्स यूज करने हैं, किस तरह के ब्लूज यूज करने हैं, एंड वी पिक पॉइंटेड द स्टफ वी लाइक. अच्छा यार दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ स्टफ वी लाइक. So this is a glimpse of how we think of stuff. Moving on, my design process, like when I start doing all the things, mood boards that is very generic. Everyone does this, but when I come to my design process, it's mostly the research part. कि अच्छा यार, we look at other Pinterest boards, we look at other stuff. I will show it to you as well in the coming slides. कि, uh, how do we find competitors and how do we find references, and always look out for trends, because when you are branding, so you're branding it for let's say 2 or 3 years. So whatever is trending works most of the time. um, Obviously जब आप research कर रहे होते हो, so you always look at the trends. maybe you don't really follow them, but it's always good to have a clear sense sketch of what is going on in the world right now. Maybe you get a brand that you have never worked on before, and you always need some kind of guidance sketch of what is going on in the world when you're doing all this, when you're making this kind of branding and logo. So like I said, mood boards and stylescapes are in my design process. This is part one of the part one of two stage process. The first stage is this. This is mostly just Google, and Pinterest कर रहे हो तो आप you're looking at other artists as well कि अच्छा यार, like, how are they working and how they are doing their, what kind of colors they're using, what kind of colors you should use when making like a banking app or something like that. So and then you move on to the stage two, जिसके अंदर the real stuff starts to, you start with the real thing, that you start sketching and you start designing. I don't sketch that much, but whenever there is an organic kind of a logo that needs to be done, I always sketch it first and then move on to the design process. Or when I'm like brainstorming about it, I always have a pen or paper with me. कि अच्छा, this is the kind of logo that recently I did a Noor Maiga logo. So that required a lot of sketches before going into the design process, because that needed that kind of the sketch. The process was the process was kind of difficult because my client was changing their minds. Um, so that happens, and it's always good to include the client in the whole process while you're sketching, while you're designing, um, and then you show those designs to the client. You um, show the basic, you make a basic presentation without colors. You can suggest them colors, but the color part is always मेरे लिए, I love to do colors later on. I love working in black and white, but if you don't want to work on black and white, and even if you're showing the basic logos to the client, if they're kind of paying you good and the scope is really good, then you always make a presentation for them, and you always um, put some kind of colors that you think that will work. After that they might change those colors, but for the first meeting with the client, like after the designing stage, you should add some colors that you think that okay, these will look good and all that. Plus add mockups. You will find hundreds of mockups free of cost, and always use relatable kind of mockups, so that whenever you're uh, whenever you're presenting, though people can relate to it as well. Okay, if there is a logo that needs to go on a wall, you show people, you show your clients, okay, this is how it's going to look. This is the kind of this is the kind of thing that we want. And if there is an alternate logo, and or if there is a a similar logo, then you can all smaller logo or something like that कि अच्छा यार, cap के ऊपर किस तरह या merge किस तरह बनेगा. So they have that idea कि अच्छा यार, this logo can go beyond just it's not just a display picture on a Facebook, but it's going beyond that. So yeah, let me drink some water. Okay. So wait. So this was one of the and this is one of the client that I worked on while I was in the agency. When you're working on in an agency, so make kind of 4 to 5 options, and then internally you decide, okay, this is the logo that we will go forward with. We will go forward with, and these are the colors that we will go forward with. Um, Kist Pay was a similar client that kind of had this. They gave us a creative brief. They had a clear idea of what they wanted, and Kist Pay was more of a, it's if you want an iPhone, if you want like any phone uh, on loan or something like that, you can get it. So, and obviously they were providing secure tariqa of. So yeah, this was the whole logo for that. I will show you the mood board of this as well. I will have to go to the screen. Um, but this is how we started, and then uh, you might do a lot of logo. You might do 100 logos for the client, but you only show two or three like finalized ones. You finalize only four or three logos. That is written in your contract. Okay? So this is how many options that you want to show. You can explore as much as you want. While in the agency, you can make uh, maybe 30 logos and only two of them will be presented. But it happens like that in the agency. While you're freelancing, you tell the client, okay, this is the number of options that I will give. On the back end, you can make hundreds of logos. Uh, if you look at this slide, it has like I think four logos or four to five logos. Only one of which is selected. Similar thing happened with layers. We showed a lot of options. We showed three options. First one was selected. The other ones didn't get selected. But not to, not to really get sad about it, but because it happens, you don't really, you know, mm, get sad when the logo gets rejected. You don't fall in love with your own work. That's the main rule. Um, and after and the other
I think there is an internet problem on his end. We'll wait for a bit.
is it fixed?
Yes, it is.
I think we are still not live, or are we? Yeah, we are. Okay, whoever is watching, you can comment your questions in the chat session. And there's BHJ who is asking, can you show some of your presentation? I will soon. So let's get back to where I left. So these were the options that we shared with layers. The first one got selected. We changed the colors of it later on. It is now. I think these are the colors that they are using now. I'm not too sure. They might have changed them a little. But this is. these are the logos that were presented to them in a mood board sort of way. You can look at this mood board and you can see how we suggested the colors from these, and how it moved forward. We presented two mood boards to them, and the pastel ones is the one that they selected, and we moved forward with that. um, um, when it comes to colors, when once you're done with the logo and once you're done with the whole vibe of it, uh, you show the client kit. So this is how the colors will look on different backgrounds. This is how your logo will look on white. This is how your logo will look on a darker color. And for Dhaga, we did a whole, you know, we did even we did polls on Instagram to select the color, because we were very confused about what kind of colors uh, were to be used in the future. And I think we selected the second one from the bottom, so middle one. I think this is the color that we selected. So this is how, and even with Kist Pay, we gave them a list of colors that, okay, this is the colors that we think that will work. They selected the blue one, obviously, because they wanted to go with a more secure color, and usually banking and their blues use oil and stuff like that. So they went ahead with it. We suggested them green as well, but obviously their mood was changed after this, so the blue one. Um, and I think didn't add this. Okay, so when the whole thing is done, the logos are done and all that. So you always go and put them in the mockups, whether it can be if there is a uh, you can always show, okay, this is how the whole social media can be done, this is how your packaging will look. When we came to Dhaga, we wanted to show like cloth tags. Recently I uploaded this on my Instagram as well, for Deccan. This is the kind of thing we suggested them. um, for an architectural firm. We showed a folder sort of thing so that we can imagine. And wait, let me see if I can find the. Yeah. Okay, can you see my screen?
No, but let's wait for a bit. I
Wait.
think it's taking some time.
um, yeah, wait. Yeah. I basically gave the wrong presentation, but it's okay, I guess.
It's okay.
So this was Kist Pay. This is how we presented it, and then we later on changed it a little. We wanted to remove the Urdu part of it, and then we later included it in that as well. We showed the colors, obviously, to the clients. This is how we did the iconography for that. And this is after the discussion. Okay, Akshay, uh, this logo is done, and we will move forward with the
Are you
extended direction.
sharing a screen?
I am.
But
Can you
it's not
see?
showing. No, I can't. Ah, yes, now
Uh,
I can.
Now you can, right?
Yeah, I can see that
So,
iconography part of slide.
yeah. Okay, so for Kist Pay, if someone has missed, this is how we presented it. and this is the kind of presentations that I do when I was in the agency. This is how we used to present the work when pitching for the logo, and for, because obviously we knew okay, so this is the scope of work and it's not just the logo that we are showing. So then we did all the other stuff as well. So we showed the colors to them, we showed iconography as well, we also showed the app icon, we added that in the in a mock-up as well. um, and then we showed okay, so this is the kind of visual language that we will be using. We use the logo, and then we use we suggested them to use this font. um, we moved on to we showed what kind of photography to be done, what kind of people to choose. These are very youthful people who are very financially not that independent, but they were independent in other ways. um, and then we showed okay, if they are not targeting the youth, then they will be targeting the people uh, who are using the phones to connect with their families, just like farmers and all that. So we suggested them Urdu typography as well on their billboards and stuff like that. Um, we showed how what kind of options, what kind of imagery that needs to be done, and what kind of content and the language that needs to be used. Um, so yeah, this was my bit, and so this is how I do things when I am branding.
That was really informative. Thank you so much for sharing your insight.
And
Okay,
let me share another screen. I think this is mm, okay. How do you do it? Yeah. So Shiza, before the session was starting, Shiza asked me, how do I select the fonts for my logos? One very common website that I use is um, Google Fonts, and I think you can see it. Can you see it? No, you can't see it.
I can. I okay. Now I can't.
Okay, let's share an entire screen. Can you tell me when you see a Google Fonts Chrome tab?
Okay, I will. Yes, I can now.
Okay, so Shiza asked me before the session started that how do I choose the fonts for my logos? One of the basic uh, website that I use is fonts.google.com, and basically you can always write something on top of it and see how it looks. Most of the time the client has an idea what kind of font they want, and you can always show them this is how it looks and all that. You can always show different options. But the creative brief that we discussed, that kind of creates the whole ambience. Okay, this is the kind of font that we will be using. We will be using typewriter font, or maybe a very serious font, or maybe a very chunky font that we can use. For Meet Me Outside, I think it was what was the font name? Mm, I forgot. Sorry, I will comment on. I will write it down in the comments whenever I remember. But this is the website that I use for my fonts usually. If not, then there are a couple of other websites as well. I use Google Fonts because they have uh, good fonts and they have like a large variety of fonts, and there are too many fonts, so uh, you can always use them. Two websites that I very mostly use for my presentations and all that. One of them is Pixie Den. It has uh, website, free mockups. You have to make an account, I think, but that's because some of the mockups require you to make an account. Otherwise, you don't even have to make an account. Some of them are premium, but the free ones are very cool as well. Another website that I use is Mr. Mockup. I will link all these in the comment section later. But yeah, they have these freebies that I use religiously. You do have to kind of, uh, you know, you do have to tweak them a little to make them realistic, but most of them, the new ones especially, are very cool. The iPhone in hand one, or if you want like a billboard sort of thing, then you can always use these. Um, for making mood boards, I always use Pinterest. This is the mood board that I did for Belco, for a chocolate brand, when I was making a logo for them. Um, and this is internal as well, because when you're working in an agency, so you get the logo approved internally first, and then you show it to the client. So this mood board was also internal. We didn't show it to the client. We showed the end result to the client. When you're freelancing, you can always show the mood board to your client, and you can get his opinion on what they like and what they don't like. Um, and if the client is clueless, then you can always suggest them something. Okay, okay, this is the kind of uh, theme. Mood boards or stylescapes define the whole theme, right? So if they are uh, kind of tilting towards some mood board, then okay, oh, this is the kind of they have this kind of mind that's the kind of logo that they want, and that's the kind of theme that they want. Um, for Kist Pay, we had a smaller mood board, but we did use this kind of thing that on the corner, if you can see, there were icons and all that stuff. The kind of pictures that were taken, in the kind of font choices that other banks use, that made a very it helps you brand further, and it helps you make the logo, and it helps you in all the different things, because when you're making the logo, you're not really thinking about just the logo. You're thinking about, okay, if this goes on a paper, if this goes on a letterhead, or if this goes into a um, into on onto some other stuff, then how it's going to look. So it's not just the logo. You need to think beyond. It's always in the back of your mind. Okay, okay, this is how I'm going to design it, but uh, you don't necessarily tell your client, okay, we have thought about putting it on the wall or something like that, or on a leather or something like that, or on a card or something. But you always, while doing your research, you always write it down. Okay, these are the things that the logo will be printed on or used digitally as well. So yeah, For colors, I use uh, two websites. Not two websites. I just use one, which is Adobe Color. Um, it's a good website. It can it's good because it has accessibility tools as well. So if you're colorblind or something like that, that helps you. That helps you decide the colors very nicely as well. So this is, and you can always go to trends and uh, like the way we talked. Okay, okay, we need to see the trends, what's going on, and all that. So if you're making a logo for a fashion brand, then you can always go look for some you know trendy stuff, that trendy colors that are being done. Um, so you get a nice theme. Okay, this is how other brands are using these colors and how we can use these colors. You can always tweak them later. Um, Another website that I love is coolers. It may isme you can always you can put you can press space bars and they it suggests you colors and all that. You can add more panels to it as well. You can um see the kind of shades as well of the same color and tints as well. You can export the whole color theme as well. Um, and you can work on these when you're working on a personal project for your own self. You can always take colors from these and get inspired by these. Um, so yeah, these are the websites that I use. There are other websites as well, obviously, but uh, it totally depends on you know how much how differently you want those. Uh, it's mostly just one Google search away. If you write free mockups, you will get free mockups and all that. But these are the some of the website that I use. I have, I think, uh, GBs of data worth of mockups and all that, and they are from all the websites. I download them and use them whenever I want. So yeah, this is all I think. Let's get into the questions part. Let me stop sharing the screen so that you can focus on the questions. Has it stopped? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um, Javeria is asking, is in these websites work as free or there is no payment options? I love free stuff, man. The world is full of free stuff if you look for it. Um, so yeah, okay. So let's see the questions. Uh,
There's one question from Omar Farooq that please talk about how much should we charge for the logo design. That is one big problem locally.
um, you define your own value. To be honest, when you're charging the client, you are um, you should know how much how how many work hours are you going to spend on that. There are clients that don't have really a good budget, but they do have time, so you charge them accordingly. You can't I have seen people charging 2000 rupees for a logo as well, uh, and that's their way of charging. I don't have anything against them, because but there is always a talk in the design groups that uh, do not charge that low, because when you're doing that, you're disrupting the whole market, right? If there's always someone who is going to be do it for cheaper, but at the end of the day, you are kind of disrupting the whole market for designers who are working, working, day and night to, you know, like me, I'm freelancing, right? So if I,
Yes.
there's always going to be someone working with less money, but if we all start charging more, then they will have like a yes, everyone is charging the same amount. Let's pick the best one and work with them. So it's like that. So charging a client most of the time depends on the scope of work, I would say, the kind of things that they want. If they just want the logo, code them accordingly. If they want the whole branding to be done with packaging and signage and all that stuff, charge more. Um, like I said, depending on the scope of work. And also, obviously, you need to put all your all the things in mind. Okay, okay, we have to pay bills as well. We have to, um, is it worth your time and all that as well. So yeah,
Okay. There
um,
is one more
who
question over
else?
here. There's one more question that what will be your advice for beginners who have marketing background, study wise, but do not have design background?
Join an agency maybe, and design background नहीं होता तो I would say कि marketing सीखो, and then sit with a when you join an agency, you get to work with multiple people, right? So you can always observe them, and you can always read articles about design and all that, so you learn design as you go, because it's just like an education sort of thing, right? And it will help you in the later stages, because in Urdu we say कोई चूना नहीं लगा के जाएगा आपको. So uh, that will help you in the later run if you start studying about how social. Obviously, you're from the marketing background, so you obviously know about social media and all that. But uh, if you know about design as well, then that would be an plus for you as well. So start reading about it. There are very big articles. YouTube is full of design videos. If you don't know Photoshop, there's a 2 hour crash course. Um there are crash courses available everywhere. There's a YouTube channel called GFX Mentor. So if you want local content, GFX Mentor is the best YouTube channel for local people. It's in Hindi and it's in Urdu, right? It's from a teacher of mine as well. So you can watch that those videos. You can get educated about those. So yeah, I would
Okay,
say
so
start a YouTube hunt kind of thing.
okay. So there's a question that is learning Khatati necessary to do Urdu typography? Did you learn traditional calligraphy and was it helpful?
Unfortunately, I have never learned Urdu Khatati, but I have read about it. Um, I have read books about it. There are books that are written about Urdu and about Arabic. There are Irani books as well, and there are Urdu books as well, uh, who touch the topic of khatati and all that. So you get a basic knowledge of how how letters work and all that. I come from a uh, Urdu family as well, so we all are very skeptical about Urdu and all that. So my Urdu used to be not that good, but I have read a lot of Urdu books as well. So my Urdu is generally good. So I would say start reading Urdu, start looking at maybe there are books available. I might share a few books that I have read, and उससे सीख लो कुछ. तो that would be a cool thing. बाकी research, man, always research while doing a digital calligraphy and all that. I love how the words are made and all that. I know how they are made, but I've never done it in a traditional way. It's always digital. So I think that answers your question. If it doesn't, let me know.
Okay, so I guess that was all of the questions, and I'm sure the ones we were not able to take were answered in Sarmad's presentation. So thank you so
Um,
much for enlightening us
there is this,
and
there
your
is this
time.
question. There is this
Uh,
question called Ashes. Who is Ashes? Yeah, Ashes, right?
okay.
How important a graphic tablet? Yeah, I have never used a graphic tablet. I used to have one, but I don't. I have never used it like that. So sorry. The You can always use a mouse with an Illustrator. Um, Adobe Illustrator use kar. That's the best thing. And if you, I won't say this, but you can always download it, the Illustrator, and practice and all that.
Okay, thank you so much for your insights and for enlightening us with your knowledge. I hope everyone enjoyed this session and learned something new. Thank you once again, Sarmad Hashmi, and everyone else for joining us. And Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, everyone. And there is, I think, let me share a link. Do you guys have like a feedback sort of thing, um, Shiza?
You can add it in the comment section.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, so I've added a link. Um, I think I think you can just copy paste it in the browser, um, and give me a feedback. It's a simple form. Um, and if you have any questions, let me know.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Allah Hafiz, Shiza, and I
We
think
have to
I'm
end
out.
this
My
session.
Yes,
Thank you.
please. Perfect. Allah Hafiz, everyone.
Allah Hafiz.